If your Dodge Dakota looks like this one here, and your engine looks like this, it's a 4.7 V8. There's also a decal under the hood that tells the engine size. If you are in need of information on how to put a water pump in this truck, I'm going to show you that now. Make sure the engine is cool, and the first step is to remove the radiator cap, which is located right here next to the battery with the corroded terminals on it. If you will look underneath your prized possession, there is a cover that needs to be removed. It's right here, and there are 5 clips holding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right there. This is a clip removal tool. You can get them at any auto parts store. They're cheap, and you just pry them off like so. If you don't have one of those and don't want to buy one and you have these side cutters, they work also. Just put them in there, don't squeeze too tight so you don't cut the clip, and just pry it out. Don't have those, take a flat screwdriver and pry it out. Just try not to break these clips, they're expensive. Now take a peek through this hole right here in your bumper and you'll see a petcock. What we need to do is unscrew that petcock counterclockwise with a pair of pliers, and fluid will begin flowing out of our ride here. That's the reason we took the radiator cap off, so it'll flow quicker. As you unscrew it, pull it outward. I put a little hose here just so I wouldn't make a mess. That noise is rain on the metal roof. It rains every video I make. Next step is to get this upper radiator hose off. There's a clamp here and one right here. You can get these fancy tools right here like this to get those clamps off. Or you can just use water pump pliers or channel locks, whatever you want to call them. They work just as good, and you probably have a set. Not uncommon for a hose to be stuck to a pipe, so take a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, get underneath it. Don't jab at the hose, but get underneath it and slip it around, and that'll help to turn the hose loose from the pipe. I'm just going to twist this small overflow hose off too to get this out of the way. On the other side you have 2 connectors and a hose. You just squeeze these clips together and pull up. Squeeze right here and pull up. And then there's a hose down in here, right here. When you remove it, water will be coming out of this, so you need to stop it up with a little piece of hose with a screw on it or something. There's actually a whole lot of hose here, so I'm just going to snip her off and put a screw in it. If you don't want to do it that way, don't. 2 bolts we need to remove with 10mm heads on them. One's right here underneath this white thing. The other one's on the other side in the same kind of vicinity. You'll see it down in there. Most likely the reason you're watching this video is because you don't have a tool like this to remove the fan. So take an adjustable wrench like this one. I found this one on the road actually. Put it on your big nut there, a big hammer, wallop it a few times, and she'll come right off. Not always. Sometimes they're froze up there real bad and you got to get the tool or somebody who knows what the heck they're doing to knock it off of there for you. Remove the belt. They make a belt tool to remove it. I'm not even going to show it to you. Here's a 15mm socket and ratchet. Crank down on her. Pop that belt loose. This pulley right here has to come off. It's a 15mm bolt head. Eight bolts on the water pump, a 13mm socket will fit them. Usually they're stuck. I get a pry bar like this and pop it loose. This one came off real easy and it's making a mess all over the floor. So you need to have a pan under there to catch all this antifreeze. And this is one of the various reasons why I hate doing mechanic work. Look at the mess it made. All that fluid that flew out of that water pump. I was ill prepared. I should have had a bucket under there ready to catch it. Clean your gasket surface area here perfectly with a razor blade. Do not gouge into the aluminum or anything like that, but make sure this part gets done right. If you're not willing to clean this up real good and take your time and do it right, then don't do this job. That's how important it is to have nice clean gasket surfaces. Nice rubber seal gasket on these pumps, so really easy to install. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. 3 of the water pump bolts are longer than the other bolts, and it's obvious where they go, so you guys will figure that out pretty easy. There are torque specs and a crisscross pattern you're supposed to follow when tightening this water pump down. If you just snug them down in a crisscross pattern, typically that's, good enough. But if you're picky, look it up how to do the torque spec and crisscross pattern. It's always easiest to slip the belt onto this smooth pulley with no groove on it, because it just slips on easier. So when you pull your tensioner back, you can slip it right on like that. Belt diagram is right here on this truck. In case you don't have it, there's a clear view for you. Not everybody's going to approve of this method of doing this. When you hit it, you don't have to get crazy. That's probably enough. And if you don't want to do it that way, don't. Buy the tool. There's tabs on this cover that line up with the bottom shroud, so make sure you line those up when you put this thing in. Both sides. If you reuse this kind of clamp, you need to make sure that you match up the indentation on the hose with a clamp. It's less likely to leak that way. Some antifreeze is pre-mixed, some... Oh! I forgot! We gotta shut the petcock. Make sure to close your petcock. Petcock is shut, as I was saying. Some antifreeze is pre-mixed 50-50, some's not. Depending on what you buy, there's a chart on the back here that tells you how to mix it for whatever temperature, blah blah, region you live in, etc., etc. Don't forget to fill up your reservoir. It's got a dipstick on it. If you look on this stick, it'll say full up here at the top of those things. You can see it. By the way, I always use universal antifreeze because it works on any make and any model. Makes it much easier than having to look up the specs for each vehicle. I always wait to put the bottom cover on till last so I can get under here and check to make sure I don't have any leaks. Best to rinse it off with a garden hose or something and then run it and check for leaks. While it's running, make sure you don't have any leaks, and then come in here and look at your temperature gauge and make sure it's not getting too high. The other thing you need to do, I would do anyways, is turn your heat all the way to hot. Air off, vents. Anyways, you should feel it starting to warm up. Like as soon as the gauge starts going up a little ways, you should start feeling heat through the vents. Like right now, I can already tell, sticking my hand to the vent, I can feel a little bit of heat coming out, and that's good. That means the water's circulating and heating up. If your gauge is getting up there and you're not feeling any heat through these vents, you need to shut it off, let it cool off, and check your antifreeze again because you've got air in the system. You need to do that anyways, but especially if the gauge is getting up and you're not feeling any heat through your vents. This water pump was obviously bad. Listen, can you hear that? I hope I'm not splattering stuff on the screen. Anyways, sometimes it's not so obvious, and what you'll get is a little leak, and there's a weep hole here on the bottom of the pump, and it'll just drip antifreeze out of it. So you can check for that if yours is not entirely out like this one was. Not going to show you how to put the bottom cover back on. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Hopefully this video was helpful to you to get your ride back on the road and get you back to work. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.